and the purity of water coming out, and we didn't think it was good enough.
50% of deposited solids waste material is picked up in primary.
Next, please.
That's the number. This
Is the series of aeration tanks. They're in series. You know, it's one after the other after the other. It's a massive operation. It's about, I think, 40 to 60 acres of land.
Well, just clarifying that, comparing Chicago, because I'm only 40 million liters per day is approximately 10 million gallons. Chicago treats billion, 100 times more than that.
Yeah, but we have a town of 75,000. Chicago has how many million? 3 million.
3 million, it's reducing 2.5 million loss.
Okay.
But
this is the carbon absorption treatment system to carbon absorb it. When we looked at that carbon absorption system, we saw problems because what we thought was it would get plugged up by using it, and then they said they would backflush it, and we just didn't think they had the effluent quality that they could backflush it. And what it turns out is that the managing director of the place had a conflict of interest. He also had money and investments in making carbon. So he was interested in them building a carbon absorption system so he could sell more carbon to them, and he was the guy who was fired, and there is a court criminal proceedings against him. It's called corruption, Chicago style or India style. And we found this out in 7 days by talking to the people and finding out. The engineers in this country and at that location begged us to stay. The managing director and the head guy said, hey, when are these guys going to leave? So they don't understand what we're doing. But that was the situation we went into. We know that we are going into problems, we volunteered for it, and that's what we did. This is the decanter centrifuge house. Can you tell us what the decanter does? It's like a
decanter is just like, you know, heavy particles settle in, and then decanter centrifuge is altogether different though.
Yeah.
Then what they do is probably the way they are centrifuging it.
High speed.
So high speed. So depending upon the levels, they are separating the materials.
Right. It goes out towards the ends. Next, please.
Actually, they are all very high energy consumptive
very
things.
High, right.
India cannot afford those kind of, even carbon absorption.
They cannot afford.
They cannot afford. Believe it. Energy.
It's the Japanese carbon absorption system came in, and now we go to the sludge drying bed looking out in the field, and this is the sludge drying bed. You'll see it out here, and the water evaporates and the sludge becomes hard. Next, please.
Okay. That's correct.
This is again the discharge. Remember, we showed you the discharge in 1999. We showed you the discharge in 1908. In 2008, and this is the discharge in 2010. It's still not very good. It doesn't meet our standards. Next, please. This is the toxic waste disposal site. The first time we went there, they wouldn't let us go in because they were afraid what we saw. Exxon research director was there with us. He told us, go see it. You won't believe it, what they're doing. So we said, okay, let's try and get in, and we got permission to go in. So this is their toxic disposal side of the solids after the water is removed. Next, please. This is their weighing station as they bring it in to control how much toxic waste. You know, even in Illinois, the waste treatment department, you know, like you send in the waste, it has to be weighed before it's put in, and they charge for the amount of by weight. So this is the waste.
Here, the way they are doing the toxic materials, there is a system called pre-treatment in Chicago. We enacted a law. We make actually $20 million out of that. Anybody who is not dumping anything pollutant, they will be penalized. So here they treat it right at the factory itself. And then they have certain standards through which they can, you know, by keeping that standards maintained, they can put it in the regular sewers, and then we treat along with waste. Then it is not toxic. That is needed for pre-treatment, but pre-treatment is very costly in India. They came up because there are so many small industries. It's not like America. They said combined effluent, you combine all the effluent, it is good and it is cheap. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Correct. Next, please. These guys up there is pushing it out. So it's not always automated. Next, please. This is mechanical unloading of the sludge. You're picking it up by a... I want to stop here for a moment. Actual toxic waste side, where they're taking, I don't know what this is. This is bags or something else. This is the methane, in case you want to gas out.
Gas will come out.
Gas will come out as it permeates. So the fire was not on. But if you look at the houses and the homes, they're not too far away. The only thing that's separating the homes from the solid waste side is this burn here and this semi-road here. And we don't know if that has an effect and the water goes into the house.
Depends on the water table.
If
the water table is lower than that and they are drinking, in Hyderabad, few miles away, when they built the combined effluent treatment, they had the problem of dark water coming in the taps.
Right.
From the wells rather.
That's a problem.